Going. All right, welcome to another webinar for Tarvent, our November webinar. So my name is Jason. I'm the CEO and founder of Tarvent, and we've got Derek. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Derek, the front-end architect for the system and one of the co-founders of Tarvent. I'm also one of the ones that responds to most of the support tickets. So if you've reached out to support, then you've most likely talked to me indirectly just through there. But yeah.
Yeah. So, man, it's been a month. October it was super busy. We made a lot of progress, but I guess we'll just jump into it so we can kind of keep this webinar short and to the point and not waste you guys' time. We definitely appreciate you guys watching our webinars. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But the first thing we've got is Less Annoying CRM. So we've talked about Less Annoying for a while, and that was released. Everything has been going really well, but we did get some feedback on that. So one of the changes that we've made is that now you can sync based on groups. So instead of syncing all the contacts in your LACRM account, we'll let you filter that and only sync specific groups. And so that way, that was one of the things that we thought about doing. We didn't do it. Got customer feedback. It makes a lot of sense because you may not want to sync up all of your contacts. I mean, Tarvent charges based on the number of contacts you have. And in a CRM solution, you can have contacts that may be 10 years old that you really aren't interested in. So those groups allow you to filter and really narrow down who gets added. And with that, the groups also come over. So not only contacts, but you also see the groups added in Tarvent as well. So those groups will mirror the grouping that you have in LACRM.
Yeah.
So
and just one thing I want to add to that is just if you're a LACRM user and you've set up your integration, the initial video we released to connect your LACRM account to Tarvent doesn't include the steps to sync your groups. We made a separate video once we added that functionality in. So if you go to the video that talks about connecting your LACRM account to Tarvent, then the first pinned comment in there will go to a video that talks about specifically syncing using the groups. Just in case you've seen that video and you're like, where is that setting? It's in a separate video.
Yeah, good point to make. And that has been brought up. So we've got that linked in the YouTube, and I think that's also linked in the help doc. So just make sure you review that stuff. It's fairly straightforward on how to do it, but it is something that isn't mentioned in the initial video. And that's just because we keep making changes, and it takes a little while to create those videos. So, all right. So the next one, bigger one that we're working on right now is the Copper integration. I keep wanting to call them Copper CRM. That's not their name. Their name's just Copper. But anyway, so Copper integration is now live. We haven't done any announcements on it other than now. So we haven't really announced stuff. And the only reason we haven't is just because we're kind of working with them on some marketing timing and that sort of thing. And then there's also another big addition that I'll get to a little bit later. But we're doing a big addition to both theirs and to Less Annoying CRM and to Tarvent. So it's kind of a bigger deal for us. And so I'll kind of get into that in a little bit. The next one, actually, Derek, I'll let you kind of take that over just because you know more about that and what we did. So
yeah, so we made changes to the dialog to add a form question. So we had several customers that had an issue, not necessarily an issue, they just didn't know how to add certain question types due to the process of how you do it. And some of those question types would be like groups or the GDPR question or any question type that wasn't associated with a data field. And so we made changes to that add question dialog to make it easier. So now instead of you optionally mapping your data field first and then picking a question type, now you'll see all the question types available, and then you can optionally map that on the same screen instead of it being two separate steps.
Do you have that up on your screen?
Go into
I could say we could just add that, or we could just kind of show everybody, because I mean this is a bigger change. Not big as it looks different, but for us it's a bigger change just because it's a lot more intuitive now. because we have had some issues there. And so let me know when you're ready and I can add your screen to it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you can go ahead and.
So go ahead and do that. And yeah, so when you go into a form, this is what you normally see. And so Derek will let you kind of take it from there on what the change is.
Yeah. So the way you add a form or add a question is the same. So you click on your form container and then you'll see your list of questions here. And you still click on this plus. But this is where things change. So before we used to have a first step where it was basically this bottom section here where you pick a field you want to map to. But now instead of having that be a separate step, we just combine it all into one just to make it easier. So you can see all the question types available. And so as you select the different question types, certain data fields will be available. So for example, you can't select the date question type and then map it to a phone number data field. So the fields that are available in this dropdown are determined by what question type you pick. And then there are some question types where there is no field available. So GDPR, no mapping allowed because that's separate. Content, image, kind of the same thing. So yeah, we just made this easier. So instead of being two steps, it's one, and you can see everything that's available instead of having to do it in two separate steps.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a lot more intuitive and easier to use. We've been going through our system quite a bit, trying to identify some of the challenging areas that aren't as intuitive, because our whole goal is to see it and get it. So we don't want you to have to refer to help docs. We don't want you to have to think it through and try to figure out what the heck we're displaying. So we're just trying to make it as absolutely easy as possible. So that's a pretty cool one. But the next one, so this is the bigger one. So engagement marketing. So with engagement marketing, we're going to be adding a lot of different features in for engagement-based marketing. And we're doing that for a couple different reasons. For one, with CRM integrations, we want to provide a lot of rich information back to the CRM because we want to close that sales loop. Because in CRM, you can track a lot of activities, phone calls and different tasks that you might have in meetings and that sort of thing. But with marketing information, we want to not only give you just a huge amount of information as far as events that are going on with campaign opens and clicks and that sort of thing. That's what everybody does. So we're going to have that in there, but in addition, we're going to have a lot of engagement information. So Tarvent, with our AI engine called Artatelli, we have an icon in the system that lets you know that we've got an AI tool that you can use for things. That's going to become a lot more prominent. So that logo there, it's actually going to change. So we have a new logo that we're going to be putting in for Artatelli. And Artatelli is just going to be like your, what do we say for that? This is all a little bit on the newer side, so we're kind of getting used to it as well, but it's going to be your marketing navigator. So Artatelli is going to be your marketing navigator that basically it watches everything that's going on. So when you send out a campaign to a contact and they click or open, or maybe they don't engage at all, we're going to be able to get a lot more information about that contact to not only give you basic information on if they clicked or opened, but we're also going to let you know, is this contact a hot contact, a warm contact, cold? Are they just completely disengaged and you probably shouldn't send to them? So we're going to give you a lot more information to really help you identify all the contacts in your audience that are hot, cold, warm, you're about ready to lose. Because the whole goal, and one of the things that is happening with AI, is that a lot of these ISPs are getting a lot smarter, and they're starting to place your emails in the spam folder. Even if there's no problems with sending it, you might still end up in the spam folder because you're not getting any engagement. So if you're not getting engagement, then let's say Google, for example, is going to think, your email is probably spam, because if nobody is interacting with it, it's probably not a good email that people want. And so that is starting to happen. It's becoming a lot more prevalent. So as a result, we're putting in a huge amount of analytics into our product that is going to be propagated out to our CRM partners, but then also within Tarvent. And so you're going to see some things coming up in the next month or so that our system is going to be shifting and promoting a lot more of engagement-based marketing. And not only are we going to provide you the data, but we're also going to be providing you a lot of suggestions. So you can think of Artatelli as kind of your genius marketing assistant. I mean, that was actually one of the titles we were thinking about giving it. But it's going to be your smart marketing navigator that's going to help you and give you clues, or not clues, it's going to give you suggestions on, hey, your audience is at risk of losing a good portion. Why don't you send out a re-engagement email? Or why don't you send out, whatever it is you're going to send out? But based on the campaign type that you're doing, we can make different suggestions. So that is coming soon. And it's a drastic change because we know a lot of our competitors, including us, will provide segments based on behaviors. Some of our competitors have some canned segments, give you everybody that's engaged, or some basic sort of segmentation. But we're going to kind of take that to a whole new level, and really, really focus on engagement-based marketing. You're going to get higher results. Your cost is going to be less because you're not sending out to everybody. It's not a send and pray technology where you just send it to your entire list and hope that you get something. And we've heard some people say, hey, well, if you send out a lot of emails, even if they don't open it, they'll see the subject, so it's still brand awareness. That mentality worked a long time ago, but that mentality doesn't work anymore. So we really need you guys to focus on engagement. Well, we don't need you. You need to. And so we're going to provide a lot of tools for that. So anything I left out, Derek?
No, I think that covers it. Yeah, I think it's just a shift in kind of the email marketing industry overall. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like you said, it's not about the quantity of emails you send. It's more about sending to people that actually want your emails, and that's going to have a major effect on your deliverability. So
Yeah.
we're doing our best to promote just ethical email sending and giving you guys the best results, which it just all comes down to engagement, especially now with, like what Jason said, with all the AI and ISPs shifting to saying, hey, no longer spam is just because of email authentication or you're sending out too quickly or whatever else. Now it's because you've sent to this person 10 times and they haven't opened it once. So that means this person doesn't want the email, put it in spam. So we're doing our best to kind of shift your guys' perspective and our perspective too, just to go based off of engagement, not just sending as much email as you can.
Yeah, we're going to make it really easy. It's going to be super intuitive. And more so, you don't need to learn this stuff. We're going to have all that information for you. You're going to have a marketing expert, Artatelli, that is going to continually help you get better at your marketing, re-engage people that are going dormant or cold, and try to get your audience up to where you have a high percentage of engagement. There's going to be a lot of new reports within your audience. There's going to be a bunch of different things. I'm not going to go into all the details right now, but as those get nailed down, we'll be sharing more with you, especially next month. Next month's webinar will be probably jam-packed full of demos and stuff to kind of show you guys what this all looks like. Hopefully you guys will see it before then, but our next webinar is most likely going to be tied to that. But then the next one, I guess, since you've got the screen up, Derek, we can talk about some additional filtering changes that we made on campaigns.
Yeah, so this one was actually a customer that brought it up. They wanted to be able to filter their campaigns to be able to just see reporting easier, just to be able to see what campaigns were sent to each audience. So we added an audience filter in here so you can select what audience you want to filter the campaigns on. So then depending on what audience you select, it'll only show campaigns that were sent to selected audience. But anyways, it's a minor change, but it's just something that you guys can know about so that if you have the same problem as that customer, it's easier to filter your campaigns based on audience than it was before.
Yeah, the cool thing, this was requested by a customer. They requested, I think it was last week, Friday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so they requested it Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, we had already pushed it into production, so it was available. So we do listen to your requests. And so reach out, let us know of any features that you want added, and especially around engagement, since you know that's a really big focus of ours right now. CRM integrations and engagement is a really big focus of ours at the moment. So anything around that that you have ideas on, or things that might make your life a little bit easier or a lot easier, let us know. I mean, that we can't read your minds. We're trying the best we can, but I really hope we don't get too good at that, because that's just weird. But anyway, so hopefully we're going to release a lot of things that people are going to like. So far, with the little bit of trialing that we've been doing, it's been going extremely well. So yeah. So then the last thing we've got is spammer prevention. So that's one of the things that, we, since we've released Tarvent, back in the day, Tarvent was something that we only made available. Well, the version before Tarvent was only made available to people that we were doing custom development for. And we still do custom development for customers. So if that's something that you guys need to have something custom built, especially if it's going to integrate with Tarvent, we do that. But anyway, so we knew a lot of the customers that were coming in because we were signing them up. But now that Tarvent is been around for a couple of years, you can sign up on your own. We don't know who you are. But with that, there's spammers have been trying to sign up with our tool and have done a bunch of different things to try to get access to our system to send out spam. Some of them have been successful, some of them not so much. But with that, we're getting better and better at blocking those spammers. In addition, we're also getting better and better at identifying accounts that are not using our system correctly, meaning that they're having really high bounce rates or whatnot. And so that's something that if we do reach out to you, we can't provide a lot of detail, but we don't like other companies that just suspend your account and that's it. It's a permanent suspension. There's no warning. They suspend it. You reach out to them and they ignore you. Neither Derek or I or anybody else likes doing business that way. So we definitely change what we're doing. So we're going to give you warnings and, and work with you the best that we can. But just wanted to let you know that that's something we're actively doing and it's paying off huge. So we're seeing our deliverability continually increase and get better and better and better. Our reputation is extremely good across the board with all the ISPs, and that just continues to improve. So we're making a lot of strides in that area. So all of you legitimate accounts out there, greatly appreciate you. And those accounts that are questionable or not doing things the right way, well, we're getting better and better in catching those and getting those accounts off of our system, because we're trying to take a different approach. It might be just naive of us, but we look at some of our vendors or some of our competitors that have hundreds of thousands of IPs that they send out email through. So that way they don't have to worry about it. You can send a bunch of spam and the email is going to go through. Not the best citizens out there. We have some of our competitors that have thousands. Well, we're still trying to make every IP count, and we're trying to be the best possible ESP citizen out there. And it's kind of paying off because our deliverability is extremely good. So with that, just keep that in mind that we are actively working on that. And that's something that it drives you guys nuts when deliverability is impacted. It drives us nuts even more because we hear from everybody, and we're doing our best. So anything you wanted to add on there? I know I talked a bunch.
Yeah, no, I just say it's as much for you guys as it is for us. We don't like to suspend accounts. We don't like to have deliverability issues, but for us to provide good deliverability, we have to be strict with what we do. But that just benefits you as a legit sender. So if you're doing what you should, we're helping you get there, helping you get the best deliverability possible, and that's what we're trying to achieve. So
Yeah.
we definitely don't like suspending accounts. It's not
No.
something we look forward to, not something we ever want to do. We just really want to make sure our emails are delivered, and part of that is making sure you're sending out legitimate emails. So
right. I mean, in simple terms, if we suspend an account, that's money that we lose too. So it's a lose-lose, but in a sense, it's a win because That's why we're doing it, is because we're wanting to make sure every account that is in our system is getting the best deliverability possible. So we're not in it just for the money. We want to make sure that everybody is able to use a premium service that that we just really watch on the deliverability to make sure that's the highest possible. So anyway, so Q&A. So we get to that, and we've got a few questions here on that. So one of the questions people have asked is, what is Copper? They may not have heard of Copper. So Copper is a CRM. So we've got Less Annoying CRM that we've integrated with. That was our first integration. Less Annoying is a really, really good CRM if you need the basics. If you don't want a crazy setup, I mean, I'll use like Salesforce, for example. Salesforce or HubSpot, those are really big CRM platforms. If you're a very small company, those can be extremely overwhelming. So Less Annoying CRM is a really good platform for when you need the basics. They give you a lot of customization so you can still make it your own, but it's not so complicated that you need to have a master's in CRM management to do it. So that's Less Annoying. Then we take one step up, or we go from more of the basic solution to more of an intermediate solution, and that's where Copper falls. So Copper is a CRM platform, but it's more in line with like HubSpot and Salesforce, but a lot easier to use. So it doesn't have some of the flexibility that are in these other solutions, but 90% of the people out there are not going to need that flexibility because they just don't have teams of people, multiple teams that you have to route things around and all the complexities that come up with it. So with that, we're just, that's where Copper sits. And so that is why we picked them next, is we want to hit an integration that's more in the middle. So some of our more advanced customers that are using or needing to use a CRM that also tightly integrates with Tarvent have an option. And what we've heard so far from Copper is that our integration is by far the most advanced integration that their platform has. So they really, really enjoyed what we built. And so they're really pushing for that. So anyway.
And one other thing to add with Copper too is I believe they are really strong with Google Workspace.
Oh, yeah.
So they integrate really heavily. So if you're looking for a CRM that integrates really well with Google Workspaces, then that could be a CRM to check out. But I know that's something they also specialize in is managing CRM with your Google Workspace.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's something that so that's kind of who Copper is. So just more of an intermediate. So if you guys haven't ever checked them out, take a look. I mean, they're a really good CRM, especially if you need just a little bit more capability than what somebody like LA CRM offers. Both of them are very good solutions, though. So, okay, what are some of the ways that my CRM that I can use? Gosh, I'll try to get this right. What are some of the ways I can use my CRM with Tarvent? So, since we've done these integrations, there's been a whole lot of questions on there. So, Derek, do you have anything up for that?
I don't know if I
If
have
you do.
anything
Well,
this
while you
point.
are, I know in the Breckworks one we have one for LACRM, but anyway, so one of the things, so there's a lot of use cases of where you would use or where you'd use your CRM with Tarvent. So some of the things are automating review collection after a client service is completed, using pipeline item status or opportunities. So in Less Annoying CRM, they're called pipeline items, where in Copper they're called opportunities. So in our system, depending on your integration, that terminology will change. So it's familiar to you based on your integration. So you're able to use it for reviewing collections. You can do custom introduction emails for new clients when they're added to a particular pipeline status or an opportunity stage. So, and this is just an automation that we have that basically lists, if you click on that pipeline item event, the trigger. So what this is doing is basically it's looking when you add a new pipeline item to your sales lead pipeline and their status is set to prospect, then they enter the journey. So as soon as you create a pipeline item with that status, that contact enters the journey. You could send emails, wait a particular amount of time, send another email, wait some more, and then you can add a task right into CRM with a due date of today plus 7 days or whatever it is you want. So, and you can add specialized notes that are all personalized. You can add personalization to the notes, but so this gives you a lot of ways to integrate. So not only are we syncing contacts, but we're also allowing you to integrate with your CRM to add tasks, add notes or activities, add a pipeline item or an opportunity. So all of those things you're able to do right within Tarvent. So, and then again, all of that engagement information is going back in. So now you're able to see, you're able to interact and do this, but then your salespeople are going to be able to use that engagement information to kind of figure out who is hot and who's not, and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
we have birthday discounts. So I'll go over that one, Derek, and I'll let you go over the next four. But birthday discounts. So when a person's birthday happens, then you can fire off a journey and send them an email saying happy birthday, offer them a discount of some sort or a white paper or something to help re-engage them in using that birthday as an example for that. So that's another thing that you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of these examples are kind of with the same trigger. It's just this pipeline item event. So there's so many capabilities that you have available, or just opportunities you have available for whenever a contact moves those pipeline item statuses or this opportunity stages, then you can trigger an email campaign or a journey. You can trigger a journey to send them a series of emails. So like a lot of people, once their contact gets into a particular stage, they'll put them into a lead nurturing series. And that's kind of like what this one is. And I know Jason already went over that. But a lot of these examples just kind of use that same trigger. So another option you can do is you can schedule a follow-up with a contact. So let's say they move from a qualified lead to a more qualified lead. I don't know what the next stage would be. Let's say they move from a qualified lead to this lead is very serious. So then you can send a schedule up email, say once they move into that very serious stage or status, then send them an email to follow up with them. And then, oh, after you send that email, let's add a task to make sure that someone on your team calls and reaches out to them to make sure you're following up with that opportunity. So that's just another way you can use this. And then you can also do time-sensitive reminders. So something we've heard from LACRM users is that they'll have a stage for signing a contract. So in some cases, you might have a contract where 3 days after they move into that stage, you need them to sign a certain document. And then 6 days after entering that stage for status, they need to sign another document. And so what you can do is that once they enter that pipeline item, send them an email to remind them to sign the document, wait 3 days, and then send them another email to remind them to sign the other document. So that's just another use case that we've heard from LACRM users that they can use our platform to do. And again, just kind of like we've already mentioned, you have different actions available within Journey. So if you want to add a CRM task, or you want to add a note to your CRM contact, or add an activity for Copper, then you can do that all within Tarvent Journeys. So if you send someone an email and they click on a specific link, and then you want to add a note that they clicked on that specific link, then you can do that right within your Tarvent Journeys.
Yeah, and actually, if you click the plus really quick, we want to add one, but we'll show you how to add or get to that. So within your actions, if you integrate with LACRM, then you're going to see the LACRM actions available. And so these are the 4 actions that you're able to do. And then within those, there are specific things for LACRM that you're able to do within those particular actions. And then we also have the same thing for Copper. So you're going to see different actions show up depending on the integration that you have. So if you don't have any integrations, LACRM won't show up, or Copper. But if you do have an integration, then those other actions will start to show up. So it just gives you a lot of integration options. So we're not just syncing data. We're just allowing you to do a lot more than just the data sync. The only other thing on the data sync, because I've read a lot about this, it's something we were very adamant about, is that we do dedupe. So if you have a ton of contacts in your system and there's duplicate email addresses, we're going to dedupe those. So in LACRM's case, they have people or contacts. In Copper, they have people and leads. So we're going to dedupe between, well, if you have multiple or duplicate leads, we're going to dedupe between the leads. And if there's leads and people and there's duplicates between them, we're also going to dedupe there. So we do a lot of work to make sure that the list that comes over into Tarvent is clean. That way, you've got a nice clean list. You're not paying for a bunch of duplicated email addresses. And that's one of the biggest complaints that we've seen with CRM integrations is that they just don't dedupe the data. So that is one thing that we're doing, or that we've already done. It's already in place, and it's just part of our platform. So on that, we've talked a whole bunch about CRM today, and engagement. Engagement is going to be a bigger thing. We're really, really pushing that. And so that's going to be something you're going to be seeing a lot of capability around, and you're going to get familiar with Artatelli. So you're going to see Artatelli pop up all throughout the application, giving you suggestions and kind of helping you out. Being your, like we said, it's going to be your marketing navigator. That it's not your boss. You're definitely the boss. Just like with AI, AI is just the smartest assistant you've ever had, and that's what Artatelli is. So, and if you wonder where we got the name from, it's really kind of, I don't know, it's just a creative spin on artificial intelligence. So we took Artie from artificial and Telly from intelligence. So we just kind of took those words and combined them together, and that's where we got Artatelli. So he's not Italian or she. It's just, that's just what we call him. So anyway, some people wonder where we get the name, so we thought we'd explain that. So on that note, as always, we've got an affiliate program. We'd love for you guys to be affiliates. So just go up. Once you log in, you don't have to have a paid account with Artatelli. In fact, we'll give you a sandbox account with all the features. So you can use that to do demos and whatnot. But with our affiliate program, you can earn anywhere from 20 to 30% for the life of the account. There's no cap. So as you add more accounts in under your affiliate, then we're going to pay out. And like I've said before, if we could pay you $1 million a month, we would absolutely love that. So look forward to people sign up for our affiliate program. Also, like I said earlier, like and subscribe. It helps us know that we're not just talking to an inanimate object, that there's people on the other side that are watching and enjoying what we have to offer. And so if there's any questions, please reach out. You can ask questions either through support. You can go to tarvent.com/webinar and you can submit questions there. Otherwise, we've got I think that's it, right? It's through support, and we've got the forum on there. So, or if you want to call us, we don't care. So ask questions. Make sure you follow us on the different social media platforms. Our next webinar is going to be on the 4th. We did have one person ask another question.
Actually, the second.
What's that?
It's going to be December 2nd.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. November 4th is today. Yeah. So, So if you didn't know, our webinar is today, but the next one will be on the 2nd. So the only other thing is somebody was asking about tags and adding colors on tags. I forgot to mention that. It's actually a good idea. We've seen that in some other systems. So you can add a tag with color. Our only challenge on that is we have some customers that literally have, I think it's like over 1,000 tags. So I don't think they'd be using color, but we might provide that. We haven't yet, but that's something that we can look at doing. So great idea. And like we said, we'd love to get the ideas in because we're not going to think of everything. But anyway, on that, I mean, we did pretty good. 35 minutes. It's not too bad. Yeah. So anything else to add, Derek? I know I did a bunch of talking today as usual.
No, I think that kind of sums it up. We're really excited to get these engagement features out to you guys. We think it's going to be a big shift, and it's going to make it so much easier to market and get the results you want, because we're going to just give you everything you need to get those results. And you're just going to be able to even be able to see a little bit of how your stuff's going to perform before you even do it. And so
Yep.
we're really excited to get all these engagement features out. I think that's just the only thing I wanted to talk about, just because I'm excited to get it out there. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yep, let the cat out of the bag on some of the predictive stuff that we're going to have. But yeah, a lot of reports, a lot of things that you can hand to managers and that sort of thing to kind of see, to kind of show how well you're doing at marketing for your company. But anyway, so on that note, have a great week, have a great month. Reach out if you have any questions. Love us or hate us, let us know. It's the only way we can get better. So until next time, December 2nd, we will talk to you later.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.